Welcome. This is Record from Team Truffle. I'm continuing my, I guess you'd call it a little look-at series on roguelikes. This is probably one of my favorites, just due to it's not the most roguelike-y. This is actually very much sort of a dungeon crawl, sort of a tower defense. It's a little bit of a hybrid. It's interesting, but the reason I love this is I love the ambiance of everything of all of this. I love the pixel art within the game. There's this beautiful, like, sort of scratchy watercolor art. I guess I don't even know exactly what to call it, with all the splash arts. I love the music direction here, all the quips that the characters make. Everything just makes it a very wonderful experience to go through. And it's very challenging. At least for me. I mean, some people probably get it, but I cannot consistently win, even on very easy. And I know that there's at least very easy, normal, hard, and I think one after hard. So I'm nowhere near very good at this game. But it is very fun, and I thought people would at least like to see it. I love giving credit to Amplitude Studio here. They've seen a lot of, I wouldn't say press in the same way that like a Fox or anything, but I've seen a lot of YouTubers go over some of their new games, Dungeon of the Endless and Endless Legend, and they seem to be getting a lot of press in that regard, in that sense, and I'm very happy for this, because the games that they do are very interesting, and they do this really interesting concept they call games together, and the idea is when they were developing this game, not only did they put it in early access like a lot of games on Steam are doing, but they actually had their own website in which they had forums that they would run contests and polls that people would come up with the new characters. In the other game is sort of a 4X strategy game that they come up with more the factions, minor factions, even major factions was one of them. The way the ships looked, a lot of the very key parts of the game, people would actually submit or vote for, and so we as an audience got to decide what we wanted our game to be, which was great. I was sort of a part of it. I wasn't like the most active member or anything like that, but I submitted a couple of ideas, I put some votes in, and it was very interesting to go through and see this as it came through. And I think that's really cool. So anyway, I love what they do. I'll probably go through all of their games one by one at some point, after I finish through this. But for right now, let's go through this and end all this gushing. So, like I said, beautiful. So interesting. This isn't the beautiful part. So basically, we have an escape pod here. This is basically the dungeon we're going through. There's different ones we have in Infirmary Part and Non-Infirmary Part. You unlock them by doing different things. I don't think it shows the unlock after you've done it, but it tells you what they do. Like right here, there's a lot more health, and the healing is reduced, but they don't heal automatically, and they replace a lot of the in-item games. So it's just a different way of playing. This is the standard way. You'll see how the gameplay goes later. Right now I'm just going to do some simple selection, because as I haven't gone over very much of it, well, it won't mean too much. There's a bunch of characters. You only start with, I think, these 4 to start with. You unlock the other ones as they appear in the dungeon as you play. And so I've sort of unlocked a lot through the amount of times that I've played through. Sort of to give a general idea of how things go, I'm going to select Opabot and Butcher. So there's a degree of statistics that you can see here, just as a general idea of what these characters do. This is how healthy, how many hit points and someone can take. This is how fast they can go, how much damage they deal, and their intelligence. Intelligence manages a couple things, mostly when manipulating some of the towers in the game, but sometimes when trying to unveil secrets or something, I think. It used to be that way. I don't know if they took that out in the final release. Then they have some basic statistics of how many times I've beaten the game with the character, the number of times I've selected the character, or the number of times I've beaten the game with that character, and the number of times that character's actually died while playing. So anyway, I'm just gonna. This is basically, we've got a fairly fast, fairly quick, intelligent character, and then a fairly tanky, slow, dumb Bruiser. So 2 very different characters. These are just your starting characters. Your maximum party size is 4. As you go through the dungeon, you'll find people that just sort of show up and you hire them, which is weird. You'd think you'd all want to just sort of get out, but yeah, you have to pay them. So anyway, let's go through this. This is a beautiful cutscene. Because again, this is one of my favorites. I love the direction, the like art direction in this. These like splash arts, the world that they're building. All of the games sort of take part in the same. I don't want to say world specifically because one of them is a space 4X game, but the universe that they're in. It's very, very interesting. And if I go into any of these games in depth, I'll probably go over some of that. But for now, I'll just focus on this game. So like most tower defense games, you have this crystal here, and as you go through waves, they'll attempt to get past your towers and get to the crystal and damage it. You lose when you run out of power for your crystal. There's a couple of different elements in this that a lot of other tower defense games don't have. Dungeon Defenders, if you've ever seen that one, you have characters that sort of fight instead of just the towers. They're kind of like mobile super towers in a sense. So that's another element of how you want to do things. And the waves are triggered by opening doors. Not every door will trigger a wave, but every door does trigger the end of turn. And the end of turn means it may trigger waves, but it will also give you resources. These are your, as they call it in this universe that they have, FIDs, which is food, industry, science, and dust. So food is food, industry, dust, science, FIDs. Basically, industry is your resource for building machines, your towers. So you'll build things that like towers that'll heal your allies, bolster their attack power, or shoot the guys that try to run past them, that sort of thing. That's what you use with this. Your food is used almost solely for your heroes. You level them up and heal them with it. So basically they get more powerful or you keep them from dying. Science is almost exclusively used to purchase upgrades for your towers. So the idea is you will find you can't do it at any time. You have to find a specific crystal thing, an artifact. Basically, you activate the artifact, and it will start unlocking its secrets, basically, and you have to use the science to do that. You may also use the science to restore the activated abilities of your characters, and if I were a more skilled player of the game, I would probably be using that aspect more. But the cost is fairly low. It won't be the major use for this. And the last is the dust. The dust happens to be the power for your crystal. It's basically the hit points for your crystal, but it's also the amount of rooms that you can put modules in. The idea is, if you want to put a tower in a room, you can put it down. But if you want it to actually do anything, the room has to actually be powered, and it must be powered by dust. And so you have a limited amount of dust, which means you have a limited amount of, rooms that you can power up at any one time. So I'll play through this a little bit to sort of show you how this works. You'll see the rooms open up, you'll see the waves come by. And after a couple of these rooms, I'll just do this. So you click on it to open it. This is a little opening sequence. When we got in the room, there was a bunch of dust that we collected, which added to our total. And there were enemies in the room, so we had to fight the enemies in the room, or they would get to the crystal and hurt them. The enemies will also attack your allies, too, just like in Dungeon Defenders, so you don't want to... they're not just a problem for this. They may actually kill your characters. In fact, most enemies will attack your towers or your characters before moving on anyway. So that's a tactic. So anyway, I've opened up a new room. This room has a lot of sort of background to it. All of this doesn't really mean anything. This is just cool little things in it. The things that actually indicate what kind of room this is, really, there is a major module slot. Not every room has a major module slot. It has a number of minor module slots. As a rough guideline, the larger a room is, the more minor module slots it has, but it's also kind of randomized. I've seen small rooms that have like 4, and I've seen large rooms that have like 3. So anyway, I would like to start creating more resources. So the idea is that whenever you open a door, you will get these resources. So I will get 8 industry, 3 science, and 6 food every time I open a door. And then if there's dust in the room, I'll pick up some. But that's not something that you get every turn. So if I want to get more than this, though, because these things take 23, these take them out of industry, and I'll run out if I don't start getting more. And upgrading my characters will take 25, and they'll scale up. These will take upwards of 100 to level up sometimes, and so you need to get more than 6 per turn to really outscale the enemies. So I will want to create, since every tower, which these are modules, not towers, but every building I place will require me to spend industry. I want to create an industry generator to start, because I need to start making more industry to put down more resources. I mean, that's just like, you gotta make money to spend money. Right? Yeah. Anyway, that's backwards. So anyway, each of these generators, replicator, creator, and each of these, creators, I call them generators usually, because this is the first one usually put down. They'll create 3 per turn of their respective type of either food, industry, or science. So I'm going to put down an industry generator. What this has done is this has automatically powered up the room as well. The game is like, well, you don't really want to put this down if you can't use it, so it'll automatically power it up. As you can see here, one of these little bars is filled, which means we have 1 room being spent. We have enough dust every 10. Not an increment of 10. Every full 10 gives you the ability to fill up another room. And so we could currently fill up 3 rooms. The interesting thing is they must be consecutive. You can't... as I open up more doors, I'll show this aspect a little more specifically. But the idea is this has been powered up. I can power it down. This will become inactive. As you can see up here, this will create 8 industry if I open a door. If I power this up, this will create 11, because this 3 is now online. So it's telling you how much you can get. There's also these little minor modules. So you can only put these down in these major module slots, these giant squares. These other 3 little boxes here, I only have 1 minor module. So these are all minor modules, and these go in these tiny slots. As you can see, the little arrows here. I only have 1 to start with. You have to learn the other ones with your science. So I'm going to put down a prisoner prod to just sort of show you. So that's how that sort of works. You just sort of set it down in one of these slots. The different slots don't really mean much of anything. They are this is an attack tower. Basically, this will do 8 attack power every half second. That's what it's just a normal basic gun tower from any tower defense game. Where I put it doesn't matter too much. The enemies are going to run from here to here. They do have a range to a degree. It's fairly large, but if I put one here, it wouldn't attack enemies as soon as they came into the room. It probably wouldn't reach their range until I got here. So it is important to put those more here. But in small rooms, it's not a huge deal, and it's not a huge deal to micromanage it, honestly. I guess in experts play, the ones that you want to get attacked first probably want to put up front. But in general, it's not a huge deal. So now let's open another door. So now as I open the door, you can see we're going to get 11, 3, 6. So we got a bunch of stuff. And then we got 9 dust. And there's more enemies here. Another use for powering rooms, other than just this, is rooms that are powered up will not spawn enemies when you open the door. It's sort of just how the game works. So I'm going to open up a few doors, gather what's in. I'll say something about it if something happens, but otherwise I'm going to open up a few so I can talk about a couple of things. So this was sort of a random... Okay, you can pause at any time as well. Sort of just like FTL that I just went over. The game is real-time, but you can pause to make your decisions. So while I'm paused, I can queue up things to be built, rooms to be powered or unpowered, or give orders to my characters to move to different rooms. So things will happen, but the actions won't actually take place until I unpause it. This was a random thing in the room, just like each of these rooms have had dust. Sometimes they will also have things within them, and these things, this is a science thing. I don't even know what it's called, really. It's just an altar, I guess, that gives me science when I unlock it. So as I open this up, after a little bit of working with it, there, I've gained 9 science. This has also uncovered the major module slot for this room. So I probably should have explained that before I did it. The idea is, what I was talking about before about consecutive rooms, is I want to power up this room so I can put down a food generator, because I want to level up my characters. If I try to power this up, the game has actually automatically powered this room up. And the reason is, rooms cannot be powered if you do not have a continuous line of powered rooms from your crystal to the room you want to power. So I have to power this room, and then this room, and then this room. I can't just power these 2. Which is fine. I'm not running out of space yet. Plus, I mean, it's just a thing. So I'm going to put down a food replicator. So now I'm getting 3 more food a turn, which is nice. Let's level up a character for now. So if you select these characters, and they have passive skills and active skills. Opbot here can repair damaged modules, and he gets 6 more attack power when there are other Pack of Dogs characters nearby, which Gork the Butcher also has. So these guys are a pack of dogs. It's sort of an allegiance, but only in a very minor way. So these guys will fight better if they're in the same room. I think you can see that statistic. So the attack power is 22, but if I enter the room, you can see it's still 22. No, whatever. Maybe it's not something you can visually see. I am under good authority that it actually works, though. So anyway, there's also an active skill. Active skills will last for a number of seconds, so this will last for 7 seconds, and its cooldown is 2 rooms, so I'll have to open up 2 doors for it to be useful again, or I'll have to start to pay some science to restore it. What this will do is it will make me attack faster, or it'll make me run faster, and it'll make me hit harder. So my attack power will go up, and my speed will go up, which is fine. It's useful if I'm getting overwhelmed. On the first couple floors I won't, so I probably won't use it. I'll use it to show it, but it's not going to be a huge deal. Let's level. So if you hover over the level up, it'll show you in green the statistics that are going to increase. So if I level him up, he'll gain 65 more HP, 3 more defense, and 1 more attack power. DPS is just a calculated value. It's the average amount of damage per second, so it's attack power times the attack cooldown, really. And so this guy attacks once per second and does 44 damage, and so he does 43 DPS. I guess it rounds down or something like that. Opbot here, I mean, does the same thing. These guys attack fairly fast. If I level him up, his defense will only go... his HP will only go up by 46, his defense will only go up by 2, and his DPS is only going up by 1. It seems worse, but as you can see, there's this, like, box that shows he's going to get an active skill. So he gets something that Gork doesn't at this level. So Gork already has an active skill, so it's not like he's outscaling him in a way, but the idea being that he may get less statistics at this level, but he's going to get something else. I'm going to level up Opbot, because he does something that I want to show off later. Like at level 3, he's going to get another passive skill that I want to show off. So anyway, his skill is the Surgical Striker. Basically, his attack cooldown will go down 0.3, so he'll attack faster. He'll take 0.3 seconds off per attack, so he'll attack every 0.7 seconds. So 3 times every 2 seconds instead of 3 times every 3 seconds. And his attack power goes up. It lasts for 6 seconds, it takes 3 turns. This is actually better than Gork's in terms of a DPS increase, because he'll attack significantly faster. He'll do almost 50% more damage. No. Well, he'll do significantly... he'll do almost 50% more damage. just because of that, without the attack power bonus. So he'll do more damage with that. But he does less to start with. His DPS is 22 as opposed to 43. So Gork is still better. But, I mean, that's how you level up. And during, you can heal as well. It won't let you if you're, already full health, but you click on, basically you'll click on this to heal them when they're hurt. When they're hurt, there'll also be a little box here that you can click on to heal them quickly, so you don't have to open up the menu and click on that right when they're about to die. Anyway, let's get back into the combat. I'm dragging on here. This is supposed to be a quick look. So, basically like every other roguelike, you're going to go through each of these rooms until you find the exit, and then you're going to go through the exit. I've picked up an item. So every character has an equipment loadout. They can use a weapon, an armor, and some sort of device. Some characters can't wear armor, but they can use 2 devices. Some characters can't use armor, but can't. Like everyone, almost everyone gets a weapon, and almost everyone gets armor, and almost everyone gets a device. There are a couple of exceptions where people will be able to use 2 devices but not use a weapon because they're bare-fisted. Some people won't be able to wear armor because they have a tech suit or something like that. There's slight differences. They get benefits in their statistics for that. I mean, they're not worse characters. Everyone seems roughly equally good, in my opinion, just in very different ways. The weapons everyone uses are somewhat different. Not everyone's different, but there are several different kinds. It'll say right here, so Gork uses a machine gun. There's a little symbol here. So any weapon you pick up that has that symbol will be a machine gun. Opbot uses a spear, and so he can only use spears. So they can't trade weapons when we get them. So anyway, I picked up a device. That's what the little ratchet symbol is. So this is prison soap. So this game has a lot of... It's got ridiculous humor. You can see Opbot's doing a cactar little pose. They do weird conversations with each other during between levels, and all of the items are pretty much ridiculous. Like, for example, prison soap gives 2 defense and 80 HP max, so it basically just makes you tankier. With the look and texture of volcanic stone, this doubles for personal hygiene and self-defense. So I'm going to give it to Opbot because he has less health, less defense. I don't want him to just sort of get killed right now. Right now, when they're both sort of running with each other, I have no real reason to make one character significantly stronger than the other, so I'd rather just have neither of them be weak. So we'll open up more doors until we find the exit. So there's enemies in this room. We'll power this room, and we're going to put down a science creator. So we'll have one of each. I'm also going to start putting down... Oh, I don't have any more industry. So never mind. So let's keep opening doors until something new happens. You haven't seen any waves. Yeah, there we go. So this means there's like the triangle plus skull thing. This means a wave has spawned in this room. It'll also tell you in the notifications in the bottom right corner, it says hostile creatures found. Again, 1 wave incoming. This means enemies are going to start coming through here and try to get to the crystal. Depending on the type of enemy, some of them will try to attack the modules, some will try to attack the people, some of them will just go straight through to here. These enemies will only attack player characters, not modules. So these guys will walk right past the module into the crystal unless I intercept them, which I will. I'm going to have both of these guys go into this room so I can show off the attack damage. So they'll go straight for the enemy. As long as my hero characters aren't way off, like 5 or 6 rooms, they will actually divert themselves to try to get to me. So we've gone in here, and you can see this little turret is also trying to fire as well, so it helps us fight. And this is actually one that won't fight us. I can sort of watch. I'll move me into the crystal room, so it won't even try to fight us or this thing. It'll go straight for the crystal, because that's the kind of enemy it is. That's just how it rolls. So that's how waves spawn. You can prevent waves from spawning by lighting up rooms. You can also prevent waves from spawning by putting a character in that room. He has, I mean, you can't see it, but they have a light. and that light will also light that room in that sense. It's sort of a mobile, temporary lighting up. So now all of the rooms I've uncovered are lit in one way or another. So none of them will spawn enemies when I open this, other than possibly the one I open. Alright. So this is another area, just like that science majigger that I found. This is a food majigger. So as I more sort of mess around with this a little bit, I'm going to get a bunch of food. Not really that much, but it's a little bit. So now I can level Opbot to level 3. As you see, the level up was 25, now it's 36. Every time I level up, it'll cost more and more and more and more, which is why you need to start producing more and more and more food. So when I level him up, he'll get some statistics. He'll also get a nice passive skill called Operate. So this is another aspect of the game. So not every character needs to fight. To start, you usually want to put them all in the foreground. They'll fight things faster, you'll run through. As things get more difficult and you're not getting enough dust to light all your rooms, you'll want to put some of them into these empty rooms. You'll also want to put some of them into the paths at these rooms. So there's like 4 rooms here, we'd want to put them into this path, because they can't light every room, but all of the enemies would have to run past them. One thing they can also do, if you have Operate, is when you enter a room, you will see a gear symbol here. It'll be darkened out with a little hourglass here for one, because you have to be studying this for an entire room to start operating it. Once he starts operating it, though, he will apply his wit to the amount of stuff gained. Every 2 wit will give 1 more resource gained, rounded up. He has 10 wit, and so this industry generator will start producing 5 more things. Industry every turn, because he is operating it, which is really good. Right now, Gork can basically take out all the enemies that we need to right now, so it's not a huge deal. So I'm going to open this with this door, and this number will go from 11 to 16. And so now, by reducing my combative ability a little bit, so this enemy is actually starting to attack my tower. It's not an attack tower, but it's a tower, basically. And so this is the kind of enemy that will stop, and it will destroy every major module on the way to the crystal, which is bad. So I'm moving basically as fast as the slow Gork can go to try to kill it. Now that I'm in the room, these ones will try to attack me. Not every enemy will do that. Some enemies will continue to attack these modules. Every enemy behaves a little differently. So I'm just trying to prevent things from getting damaged, because the heroes will heal between rooms. So I don't really care if they take a little bit of damage. They're not about to die. I just don't want these to continue to take damage, and then eventually die. Opbot will continue to operate this machine as long as he doesn't leave the room. And you can see this like turning gear. Even if he has to fight enemies, he will still continue to be operating it. It doesn't break it just because he has to fight enemies, which is nice. It would suck if that was the way it worked. So now I don't have enough dust to light all of my rooms, so waves will continue to spawn like you saw. I do not have a major module to put down. I would like to put down a little more defense, because I don't want anyone to get through. So anyway, this is the artifact. This is what I was talking before about science. So if I click on this artifact, there's a bunch of... These are basically blueprints. So I can learn new modules, it says new module on the top, or I can level up existing modules. These are all randomly generated every time you see one. Or we can reset them by spending a little science, or we can actually, when we start analyzing one of them, when it's done, it'll pull a whole new pool. It won't just pull that one. So I can pick one of these, and then when this is done in 3 turns for research time, it'll have a whole new pool of 4. So I have a choice. I can either get new modules, so it'll always be a major module, I think these are support module, attack module, and defense module. And so it'll always be one of each of these, but each of the individual ones within it will be sort of randomized between being a new type or an upgrade of an existing type. The amount varies. for the analyze cost. Some modules are, I wouldn't say necessarily better in terms of strategic value, but each of the individual modules, some of them are better than other ones. Like a mechanical PAL is better than a Tesla module in one of them. So that's why it costs more to analyze, and it'll probably cost more. I don't know much about the cost of the Tesla module, but it costs a fair amount to put down. But since there are multiple minor modules in the room, it may be beneficial to have like 3 Tesla modules instead of 2 mechanical PALs, so it may still be better to have the Tesla module. Or we can improve the replicator. And the idea is these major modules, when you get new ones, they'll do different things. Some of them will improve the defense of your towers, some will improve the attack of your heroes. This one will actually cause the food replicator to produce 5 food per replicator instead of 3. That is an amazing benefit. This is actually a jump from level 1 to level 3. This doesn't always happen. It's usually a jump of 1 level. But it's fairly common. This isn't like, whoa, this is unique, I've never seen this before, but it's uncommon to see this. You'll see it once a run or something like that. But it costs 65 science. I only have 56, and I'm only getting 6 a turn. It'll take me 2 turns just to be able to do this. Just to be able to start it, and that'll take 3 more turns to finish. But I'm basically researching twice to get this. And getting a good infrastructure of food and industry is great, probably better than the Tesla modules and the bioorganic to start. And so I'm going to choose to not do this, but only because this is an introductory video. I would almost always do this, but I want to show different kinds of modules. And so I'll buy the mechanical PAL. So that is purchased, and basically purchased it with my science. I can click on it to show how many turns it's going to take to finish it and what it's working on. If you find multiple ones of these, you can research multiple things at the same time. Okay, I don't have much else to say about that. So I'll have to open up 3 doors. So this symbol right here means door. I mean, it looks like a door. So when I open 3 doors, this will be done, and I can research another thing. As long as this isn't destroyed in the meantime. This will be attacked, just like these will be attacked. So if one of the enemies that wants to attack modules comes into the room, it will start attacking this module as long as I don't stop it. So you want to kind of try to protect it, but a lot of enemies will run past it. It's not absolutely necessary. It's probably going to be fine for now, especially on the first couple floors. Yeah, that's about it for now. Let's, I'll just show how this goes. Open a couple more doors, try to find the exit. This is an industry thingamajig, so I activated the bit, and boom, I get some industry. So, oh shoot, they're gonna attack these things. So I have to try to run here to stop them from killing my science generator, which I may not get to in time, because Bork here is really slow. But this is actually probably a good show of how this works. So he destroyed my science module. It's dead. There's no repairing it. It's just gone. So, even though there's a little bit of a crater here, so to speak, rubble, that's just an indication of what used to be there. It's actually a free slot. And so, I'm going to put science back here. And in fact, I don't really want to lose that again. And so I'm going to choose to move Opbot here. I really wanted the industry more than I wanted the science, but I had to pay 30 industry just to replace this, and he's giving 5, so that's 5 here, so that's 6 turns. So I just lost 6 turns of progress, basically, of his progress, not total progress. So he will, by not letting this not die, he'll actually save me more in the end. Plus he'll give me more science, which is fine. I mean, it's not ideal, but the other way I could have managed that is to like turn this off and then like light these rooms up so there'd be less coming down this way, so that Bork here has more time to get back here. But then some might spawn here and try to kill the food generator, so that's still not perfect. I also could have just had him run over here to fix it, but then he would have stopped operating. I'm just trying to show what strategic choices are here and things that'll happen. So that's what happens. They will destroy modules. When modules are destroyed, they're gone for good. If they're not completely destroyed, they can be repaired as long as your character has repair. And it's free to do, but it's very slow during combat. So, that's that. I'm just going to continue on for a bit. I do not have enough dust to light up this room. This has a major module slot. I don't know if that's really obvious, but it does. But I can't light the room up. There's not enough dust to power it, so I can't put another one there just because there's not enough space. There's also like a nice map. This is kind of cool looking. So basically, this will show like these are moduled rooms. These like blue circles. The just the light blue things are just empty rooms that have power. The dark rooms are dark rooms. And then you have your little portraits. The green thing is who you're highlighting. There's just portraits for different characters, and there's things within them. This like diamond is the crystal. This is an artifact. These are closed doors. These are open doors. You can also zoom into each of the individual rooms. You can also issue orders from this map as well. It's kind of useful sometimes. It's just neat. As you can see, the visual style, this is great. Each of these individual rooms is different, and they've got things within it. There's cots, pillars. Very interesting. Again, something I would go over if people wanted to see, know more about the game, but not something I really want to spend the time on a quick look at. There we go. This is the exit. And so I will show... So I'm not going to... Normally, the best opportunity that you would have to beat the game is on the earliest floors, to try to open up as many doors as possible to get the most number of resources. You know, that's what you want to do. But right now I'm just sort of trying to rush this a little bit so I can go through as much of the game as possible without making the video super long. So I found the exit. I can now leave, go to the next floor, which I will do. So you click on the crystal, and it's like, hey look, we want to pick this crystal up. So now I pick it up. Now what this does is this starts the... I forget the name of the event, but this is basically the ending event. Music changes. Doors will start slowly opening as well, which is a new implement that I don't love so much. But basically, enemies are going to start spawning in these empty rooms. And he will run slowly as he does this. But as you see, all the doors opened. It said that there's actually only one left. Oh well. I can't light up more rooms again because the crystal is powering it, but the rooms that were already lit are still lit. It's a little weird in that sense. So he's going to run to the exit. Luckily, we're early on in the game, and so he's not going to take 1,000,000 points of damage, just because the game is simple to start and not too easy. But normally, this would be a situation where you'd want someone to go protect him, so that he can get there in time. You usually want to light up the path to get to where you're going. Oh, Mark's actually so you should have a new sacking effect. But I'm just going to rush it. I lit up most of the rooms to the path, so there's not a whole lot of enemies. Again, enemies will only spawn in dark rooms, so you usually want them to spawn behind you. So here, heroes, 2 out of 2 are ready. The crystal is got it in the end, and now I can exit. So now the floor is over. And now we get the little elevator sequence. So we get nice... we just get silly little quips. Certain characters will actually have unique dialogue with each other. Not them, though. This will tell you the statistics, how much FIDs you've carried over. You do not carry dust over, but you will carry the other food, industry, and science. And so it's nice to build up sort of a stash that you can build an infrastructure to start on the next floor in case you don't, like, you want to build up more. It'll tell you how many doors you opened, how many monsters you killed, the time you took. And then we can continue the dialogue. There's no more dialogue, but then we go to the next floor. We get a nice little splash screen again as it's loading this, loading the floor. And then we proceed again. Things get progressively more difficult, and they kind of spike a bit. Like right now, this is... It's still not particularly difficult, especially on Too Easy, but it's a lot more difficult than the first floor, because there are actually multiple places to go, instead of just the one. So you actually don't know which way you're going if you're trying to go quickly. As you go down into floors, different enemy types will come up, they'll become more difficult, more enemies will spawn. Some really heinous enemies that like grow stronger if you don't kill them quickly or try to bust open doors for you, which will spawn more waves. A lot of really annoying things sometimes. So that's the basics of this game. It's sort of a mix between a roguelike, picking up random elements, fighting random enemies, and a tower defense game. You know? This is another little random element. This is called a steal. Basically, or stata, I don't know how it's pronounced, but basically this will produce a unique effect on the floor until it goes away in 2 turns. Basically now monsters won't see me. Which can be good, because my characters won't die, but it can also suck, because now enemies will go straight for the crystal. So I haven't found any major module slots. When this goes away, it will give me one, but I don't have any yet, so I actually can't start producing industry, which is a little annoying. I found a dead end. And I found... Ooh, a soul taker. Alright, so... Oh, that's a sword. I don't have anyone that has a sword. Anyway, I can't show you that sort of thing. But anyway, this is the basics of Dungeons of the Endless. There's, I think, 12 floors. They've changed it they changed it when it started coming out, but so I'm not certain about all of the very specifics, but there's like 12 floors. Every 2 floors, it goes to a different kind of floor. Like there's like sort of a jungle area, there's like a frozen area, there's sort of a graveyard area, and they'll have different kinds of enemies and different things to expect. But yeah, this is the basics of the game. Again, this is one of my favorites just because I love the kind of funny dialogue that they have, the crazy weapons. Like for example, this Soul Taker. It's an exceptionally sharp blade used to repair exceedingly large shoes. I mean, it's corny, but it's at least amusing. I like it. And it's very difficult. They have different difficulty levels, so this will remain difficult for me for a very long time. I have to stop this. So yeah, this was damaging my crystal. It'll tell me in a nice little dialogue. So actually, I think I'll just let this happen because I haven't really showed this. But when your crystal is being attacked, you start losing dust, and it'll show you the individual amounts. One of these is hurting a lot, jeez. But you want to stop them, really, because that's your health. You lose when you lose all... Yeah, new enemy type. You lose when you lose all of your dust. And as you lose dust, you lose dust, which means you can then power less numbers of rooms, because you have less to, you know, produce, which is kind of a feedback loop. As you are able to power less rooms, you're getting less resources, and more enemies are spawning. And so you really want to be on it as fast as possible. I'm just gonna let it die, just to sort of show it. This is sort of the end of what I'm doing here. I would, just like FTL, I'd be very happy to do a playthrough of this game. I play it sometimes on my off time, and I'm not in any way done with it. The only reason I haven't moved on is because I have other games I like playing. But if people want to see this, I'd be happy to. This is a great game. There's a lot of replay value in this because there's so many different characters, and it's just a strategic element. So this is different. There's different ships that have different effects, different characters you can pick up, a lot of unlockables. It's just very... There's a lot of reasons to keep playing, a lot of reasons this stays interesting, even though the same basic mechanics go through this again and again. But yeah, it's a great game. As you can see, I have not beaten this game many times, and I've gotten fairly far several times, and yeah, so that's the thing. There's also multiplayer. I've never done it. I don't know a whole lot of people that play this game, and I haven't been playing recently since the people I know have started playing. So it's just a thing. It's a really nice game. They've got, great art, great ambiance, interesting characters, just a very cool experience. And I would very much suggest if you like tower defense, if you like roguelikes, this is great. I think it's a better pickup than FTL, honestly, and that one's a very secure pickup. So anyway, if anyone wants to see me run this game, I'd be happy to do so. If anyone wants to play with me, that'd be cool too. But anyway, I'm signing off for now. Have a good day.